I know they've been saying have it your way for years and years and years at Burger King, but this gentleman has just taken things a little bit too far. But he does seem remorseful about his actions.
Thank you, Mrs. Thomas. All right, Mr. Muhammad.
Here you come, Your Honor.
Thank you. Raise your right hand for me, sir. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Muhammad, we're having video hearings because of COVID. Do you agree to have a hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're represented by attorney Tamisha Cook from the law firm of Lister and Holt. You're before the court on 2021 CR 01036 for criminal trespass. And sir, one second. Ms. Cook, what is your client pleading to the offense of criminal trespass?
He's entering a guilty plea, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Muhammad, by entering a plea of guilty, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am. I understand and accept responsibility for the charges.
All right. Factual basis, please.
Your Honor, on January 3rd, 2021, officers responded to 5141 Jonesboro Road in Clayton County, Georgia. The location is a Burger King. Officers did speak with the store manager, Arlinda Hall, as well as an employee, Tara Ford, who advised that they witnessed the defendant throw a rock at the store window after he was upset by his order being wrong. Officers did make contact
Look at her
with
reaction.
Mr. Muhammad, who advised that he did throw the rock. The damage is estimated to be about $500. He was charged with criminal trespass. The state's recommendation is 5 days to serve 5 days jail time, credit for time served, and do not return to the incident location.
Stay away from Burger King.
What store was it again? I'm sorry.
It's a Burger King, 5141 Jonesboro Road.
All right, Ms. Cook.
Your Honor, that is our understanding of the recommendation. Mr. Muhammad has been in jail since the date of the incident, January 3rd of this year. We are asking the court to go along with the negotiated recommendation.
All right, Mr. Muhammad, how old are you, sir?
I'm 21, ma'am.
Mr. Muhammad, you're old enough now to realize that your actions have consequences. So I don't know what you thought would happen when you threw the rock. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a fast food place and they don't put napkins in there or they don't put half the order in there. So I just don't understand what you thought was going to happen.
I actually spoke to the officers and told them I completely accept responsibility, and it was a slip in my judgment. I am too old to be making decisions like that.
I got you. I just want to make sure that you're clear on that. Like this, however many days you spent in jail, which is a long time. You spent a long time, longer than 5 days. That you're clear that you can't be impetuous like that. Number one, and number two. Let me just say this. I understand how frustrating it is. You ask for something, you're paying for something, and you don't get it. But I want you to have a little bit of compassion for the people who are in there working, because you don't know what situations they're working under. So in the sense, sometimes you have to give people a little bit of grace. People make mistakes. And because in your life, you're going to need some grace sometime for the mistakes that you make, you should have to extend that grace to certain people during your lifetime. I want you to think about that. I want you to assess, is it really enough for me to really pop off, or can I just give them a little bit of grace? Okay?
Yes, ma'am. I completely understand. It was more of them because of them making a joke out of my faith. I asked for a substitute because I don't eat pork, and they're kind of laughing and joking amongst themselves about it. That's mainly the reason why I was upset. I was upset in the first place. But another reason, not making excuses, I was binging. I was having a withdrawal on drugs the night before, and I did not sleep for 3 days. And it did make me put a lapse in my judgment. I'm only here in Georgia. I'm a resident of California. I'm only here in Georgia to be close to my grandmother, who lives in a senior living facility. So I'm hotel to hotel right now, and it's very stressful to pay a hotel every day with no job because someone stole my wallet with my ID and social in it. I'm working to get my birth certificate, my ID, and my social back so that I can be established and get my own apartment down here while I'm here for my grandmother. But I completely understand what you're saying, ma'am, and I feel like the time I've served already has let me be able to understand that and clear my mind and just keep me off of any drugs or anything that would influence me in any way.
All right, Mr. Muhammad. So I get that, and I'm sorry that if they made fun of your faith, because that's not appropriate at all. I'm gonna wish you well. Your first priority is to get your ID back, and see if you can get your reestablished as far as identification and someplace to get you stability. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to accept the plea, and I'll accept the recommendation of the attorneys. I'll send you to 12 months to serve 5 days credit for time served. You'll be released today as long as there's no holds on you. And so, sir, just remember that, the drugs are not good for you. And if there's any program that you find that you can get into to keep you from doing that, and Narcotics Anonymous is free. You can find those classes. If you can go to the library and Google Narcotics Anonymous classes, and they'll tell you where they are and when they are, and that's free. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I've seen some actually in the jail on the kiosk. They have a law library. I had seen a couple courses. I looked up courses in Georgia and in
You
California.
gotta bring the
So
law
I'm not sure
library
if I'm
into
gonna
it.
relocate just yet, but
Okay.
I've seen a couple. But thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right, you can go with the sheriff.
All right, I'm not done. Hang on. This young man probably would have been better off just keeping his mouth shut.
Mr. Lismore, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
I swear.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. So, Mr. Lismore, you're before the court on 2020 CR 03115, Jaquavius D. Lismore. You're represented by an attorney from the law firm of Lister and Holt, Ms. Cook, who's here on the call with you. Sir, we're having hearings by video because of COVID-19. Do you agree to have your hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
You could enter a plea of not guilty to the offenses before the court, and if you did that, you could have a trial by jury or judge. Maximum penalty, if you were convicted, could be up to 12 months in jail, $1,000 fine, or both per offense. But it's my understanding that your attorney has spoken with the state's attorney, and they have informed you of what they intend to ask me to do in your case. What does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, he's entering a guilty plea to count 1 and count 5. Other counts will emerge.
By entering a plea of guilty to counts 1, battery, family violence, you're also charged with count 2, battery, count 3, simple battery, family violence, count 4, simple battery, and count 5, criminal trespass. You're entering a plea of guilty to criminal trespass also. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And Mr. Lismore, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis, please.
Yes, on March 23rd, 2020, officers responded to 5289 Chantilly Terrace in Clayton County, Georgia, regarding a disturbance at the home. Upon arrival, they did speak with the victim in this case, Mr. Christopher Wilburn, who stated that he was the defendant's stepfather, and that they did reside together at the residence. He stated that Mr. Lismore and his mother got into an argument earlier that day. He did knock on the defendant's bedroom door and told him that he needed to talk to his mother. At that time, the defendant walked upstairs, caused a disturbance, swung at Mr. Wilburn, and then he punched a window with his hand, causing it to break. Mr. Wilburn did attempt to restrain Mr. Lismore, and the defendant then at that time bit the inside of Mr. Wilburn's right arm. The officers did observe a red mark on the inside of his upper arm. It was partially raised and swollen, and the damage to the window would cost less than $500. He was charged with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. The state's recommendation in this case, Your Honor, for count 1 is 12 months to serve 20 days with the balance probated for him to complete a family violence intervention program. He is to have no violent or harassing contact with the victim. I did speak with his stepfather and his mother. They do want him to return to the home. For count 4, it's 12 months to serve 20 days, balance probated to run concurrent with count 1. Your Honor, he does have a second case, a criminal trespass case, that's still in magistrate court. He was just picked up on the warrant on that one on February 16th. That case has not made it to state court yet. I just wanted to put on the record that we have negotiated that once that case does come up, we will run that case concurrent with this case with the credit for time served for the 20 days.
Okay. So.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just wanted to mention he has served, based on my calculation, 12 days. He is requesting to serve the balance on the weekends, which would be 4 weekends, and the state has no objection.
Here we go.
Tell me what's going on, Ms. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lismore has a job that he does not want to lose, and his work schedule is Monday through Thursday from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And so we're asking the court to allow him to do the 4 weekends from Friday at 6 p.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. And he can start this coming Friday, the 26th. I am going to file a preliminary waiver so we could possibly get that other case moved to state court a little sooner. He is accepting responsibility for his actions, Your Honor, and is asking the court to go along with the recommendation.
How old is Mr. Lismore?
He's 22.
Mr. Lismore, why are you still at home?
Why am I still at home? I'm still at home because I'm just working. I'm a family man. I'm working to get my stuff together.
What do you mean you're a family man?
I have kids.
So you having kids, but you can't even afford to live on your own, but you can afford to have kids, but you got to live with your mom and daddy.
That's not the problem, Your Honor. It is, I plan on going back to school, but I don't have nobody that's gonna buy school for me, so I have to go to school for myself.
That's something you do for yourself. Nobody bought school for me. I took out loans. I had to pay for it myself. I worked a full-time job while I was in school. So, Mr. Lismore, you're making a lot of excuses. You've already gone out and had babies when you're not even prepared to be on your own. So I'm just trying to understand how it is you can be living up on your mom and daddy, living in their house and causing a ruckus. Well, anything they say for you to do, you ought to jump and say how high, how quick, when, what, please let me. What else can I do?
Well, Your Honor, I am working.
You don't have no place else to go or you would be there.
That's why I'm working. I'm working to get my own home.
So as long as you're working to get your own home, the last thing I should see is 2 battery cases. I'm just confused because I've never had attorneys come to me and ask me, well, Judge, can he spend the rest of the time on the weekends? He got a job. They know me. And they know when you 22 years old, you disrespecting your parents, you living at home, you already somebody else's parent, but you can't even afford to be, because you can't even afford to live on your own. And they're asking me to let you out of jail when you got another case coming up. Who's the victim in this other case, Ms. Hunter? Ms. Cook, somebody.
So that is the it's his, I believe that's his girlfriend or his child's mother. It was a criminal trespass.
Okay, so I'm just I'm so confused as to why I should extend any grace to Mr. Lismore and let him out to work the weekends. He don't care about his job. Why should I? He done picked 2 fights with people he shouldn't even be raising his hand to. And so why should I care about his job? This is somebody who thought it more important to have babies than to get themselves straight. So you can't even provide a home for your baby because you can't provide a home for yourself. Why should I let him serve his time on the weekend? I'm sorry, I'm confused. Somebody explain it to me.
Your Honor, I've been working since I had a child. I've been having jobs since I had a child.
I don't care, Mr. Lismore. You're supposed to have a job. I worked from the time I was 14 to now. No breaks, work. So, but I didn't have my kids until I was in my 40s when I knew I was stable and could afford them. So you're not telling me nothing. I'm not going to give you big ups for doing something you ought to be doing, which is working.
I just got the job.
All not to be doing is filling up the world with your children that you can't take care of.
I take care of my kids, Your Honor. I just got this job.
You live at home, sir. Where your kids live?
My children stay with their moms.
Who their moms stay with?
Their moms.
Okay, so then you are not taking care of your children. Their grandparents are. So if they got to live on their mama's mama, then you're not taking care of them. So you stop saying that and stop believing it because it's not true. Anytime you producing a child that's got to live with their mama, who's got to live with her mama, you putting a burden on that mama, on that grandmother. Stop twisting your head. You paying the mortgage in those houses?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you paying the rent?
And who home?
Either one. So don't tell me nothing about I take care of my kids. You take care of your kids when you can live in the home with them, pay all the bills for them, make sure they're going to school on time, make sure they're getting up every day. You ain't doing nothing.
Right now I'm going to court for my daughter, Your Honor. I'm going to court for my daughter. I'm trying to
So she can come live with your parents?
No, I'm getting legitimation rights, and I'm getting my mother, she getting visitation rights. My baby mother do not, you know.
Don't say nothing about your baby mama because you chose her. You chose to have a baby with her. So whatever she was when you chose her, that's what she is now. You made that mistake. So don't tell me nothing about your baby mama. Let me explain to you. The problem I have is you got 2 cases that involve some form of violence or disturbance. And these attorneys are asking me, and they know who I am. They know me as a judge. They both work in my courtroom for years. So let me just explain that they're asking me to do something I don't ever do. If you get time in my courtroom, you serve the straight time. There are some cases I will do weekend jail for, but battery is not one of them. I've never done it before. I don't know why they want me to do it now. You talking about you got to preserve your job. Like I care, because you didn't care. Or else you wouldn't have been raising your hand to your stepfather and talking slick at the mouth to your mama. So when you grow up, then I might care. So y'all might need to talk about this again because I don't feel like I need to let him do the rest of this. He'll just have to find another job when he gets out. Since he's doing so much of taking care of people. And I mean, you straight up lying to me. I take care of my kids. Where your kids live? With their mama? Where their mamas live? With their mamas? So you ain't doing nothing but putting a burden on other people.
But with the relationships with...
No, not no but.
The relationships with me.
Not no but. I don't care what their relationships are. You shouldn't be producing kids that have to live with their grandparents. Because let me just tell you, if their grandparents are anything like me, they don't want to have to take care of their child that they already raised and then add a person to their household because you and the child out here making babies. That grandparent didn't make that baby.
Right.
Do me this favor, Mr. Lismore. Don't go around telling nobody you taking care of your kids. You go around thanking the grandparents who really are taking care of your kids. Because whatever you making on them jobs ain't enough to take care of 2 households and you living with your parents. Sir, don't snow me. I'm too old. I know what things cost.
And I appreciate my support that I have.
No, I'm sure you do, because you up here fighting with your stepfather, biting him in foolishness.
The case, it wasn't that.
Let me just say, if your parents are allowing you in the situation you're in, if they're allowing you to live in their house, the first thing you should do is back down. Anytime a conflict comes up, excuse me, I'm sorry, let me do whatever you asked me to do, and then I'm gonna walk around the block until I feel better. Because they don't have to keep you. In fact, they should have put your butt out, because you showing them that you're trying to be grown out here producing babies, but they coddling you by letting you still live in their house. You ain't gonna never grow up until your feet are faced with the fire, and you got to figure out how to provide for yourself and provide for them kids you making. Your parents are putting a roof over your head, and you talking slick at the mouth, and they want me to give you weekend jail and coddle you even more. I'm not that person. If I was your parents, I'd put your butt out and keep you out. Your parents want you back in the home. Bless their hearts. They better than me?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Because I don't do battery. Battery and family violence and criminal trespass and all that. I don't like that. Especially not against your parents. Honor thy mother and thy father. That's what I live by. You need to learn that. Because if they're willing to let you live with them, you should be honoring them every single day, not getting into a situation where you have to go to jail.
You're right, Your Honor.
Oh, I know, I'm clear. That's why they give me a black robe. So how much more time he got? How many weekends y'all expect me to have him come back?
Yeah, he has 8 more days he needs to serve. He really just needs to be out by Sunday night.
Because
Poor Miss
That's
Cook.
the job, Your Honor.
we ain't working.
DHL.
You got a good job at DHL and you messing it up with back-to-back cases?
I just started, Your Honor, last Monday. I just started orientation.
And you messing up a good job at DHL?
I applied I got the job Tuesday. I got locked up Tuesday. As soon as I get the job, I get locked up. And then I had to put it behind me because I'm going to court for my daughter. I had to get this put behind me anyway. So.
All right, now listen to me. The only reason I'm doing this is because Ms. Hunter and Ms. Cook agreed on this. And I respect both of them as attorneys and as people. But let me just tell you something, Mr. Lismore. If it was just you and this story you telling me and all of this here background, you'd be serving 8 straight days until I get my 20. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So what I am going to do is I'll go ahead and go along with whatever the plan is that they have. But I'm going to tell you right now, mess up here, because I remember people. You can ask anybody that works with me. I remember folk. And when you come back the next time, if it's a misdemeanor, you coming straight to me and I will remember you. And I'll probably be able to tell you the whole situation and the conversation we had. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you don't believe me, you can, any of these people who are on this call who've worked with me more than a year can tell you.
I promise you.
So, Mr. Lismore, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna accept your plea of guilty to counts 1 and 5. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 20 days. The balance will be probated. You will serve the remaining 8 days. I'll give you credit since the date of lockup. You'll serve the remaining 8 days by turning yourself into the Clayton County Jail for the next 4 Fridays. You'll turn yourself in on Friday at 6 p.m. You'll get out on Sunday at 6 p.m. And then you'll return to work during the week, and you'll come back the next Friday until I get my 8 days. So each weekend is 2 days. Are we clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And the next thing is you're to have no violent or harassing contact with Mr. Christopher Wilburn. And the FVIP class is going to be 24 sessions. If you miss any of the sessions, if you miss up to 3 sessions, they'll make you start it all over again. And you don't have time to start it all over again. So let's be clear that you're going to take these classes. We clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And number 3, don't make no more babies. You have already proven that your equipment works. You don't have to show us no more that you know how to make babies. What you need to show us is now that you know how to be responsible and take care of them. And the babies you have, you can afford them. We clear?
Yes, Your
Because
Honor.
the grandmamas whose children are living with them, with their children, they don't deserve to have to take care of your kids. They didn't ask for them. I'm sure they love them. They're their grandparents, but they didn't ask to have a new baby come into their house.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so until you can stand up and provide a home for the kids you making, stop making them. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You ain't proving nothing by telling about, yeah, I done had a baby. All that proves is your equipment works. That's biology. If you don't know how to be a responsible, you failing them from the beginning. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Condoms are cheaper than child support or child care. All right.
In your honor, can we add the mother to the no violent or harassing contact? Ms.
Yes.
Kesha, Kesha, last name is New, New.
Yes, we can add her.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lismore, don't mess up, please don't mess up.
I won't, Your Honor. Promise.
All right, because these attorneys have gone to bat for you, and I'm gonna be disappointed in you, but they ain't gonna get the next time they ask me for something like this that goes against the norm. I might not be able to do that, so don't mess it up for everybody else.
I won't, Your Honor.
All right, you
Thank
can
you.
go back with the sheriff's office.
Your Honor, may I have a quick breakout room?
All right, anything else that we need to discuss before we end today? Okay, I guess I did go off on Mr. Lismore a bit much, but if hopefully if his behavior changes and he becomes a responsible adult, then my rant was worth it. All right, I will see you all on Thursday. It's our long day, so please make sure you bring your snacks, your water, that you stretch, have your comfortable shoes on. I can't see them anyway, so.
Oh, I love her. She's awesome. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. You guys have a blessed weekend, and I will talk to you very, very soon.